2 hours a week, 20 hours a day. The reason I'm asking, you were asked a question directly, did you take off today to come do this?
Right.
And I've never heard Governor Landry ask that question. He has testified.
Right.
I never heard Liz Murrow, Attorney General, ask that question.
Right.
Nancy Landry, Billy Nungesser, Tim Temple.
Right.
He was in the news last year testifying on bills. They never had, hey, did you take off today to come? But when you walked up, proving that the carbon capture is so political, you were asked, what are you doing here? Did you take off today?
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was Jessica Domain. And, you know, as a statewide elected official, I am treasurer 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. If I'm for some reason on vacation in, let's say, California or who knows where, I'm still on duty. I'm still treasurer. And I have testified a number of times before.
They've never asked that question before.
They have never asked that question before. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's the carbon capture thing has gotten so political.
Yes.
And so since you on the side that got beat yesterday,
yes,
I guess they thought, well, let's discredit this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. There was what happened was I came in, I plopped down in the front row. The Speaker de Villiers, came up and he was trying to figure out how to get me out of there. I could tell he was distressed. I think I caught him by surprise, which I intended to do because I knew that they would try to discredit me, and I didn't want to give them any more time than necessary to do that. And indeed, that's what they tried to do. The governor, Jeff Landry, has attempted to discredit me by saying that I voted for carbon capture while I was in Congress 8 years. I've completely dispelled that. I've proven through analysis and AI there was never a bill that provided carbon capture and sequestration.
Okay, let me. I was going to get into that because Neil Reiser, who y'all said a friend, said, "Here's a bill. You want to read it? You want to read it?"
Right.
And then zero Z Zarang is my definition, not yours. Complete zero. He's in there trying to be fancy and funny too. But I noticed he shut down really quick when you answered his crazy question.
Yes. Well, what happened was that I'm sure the governor's office told them, because the governor's been saying that I voted 6 times for it in Congress. And so they just simply downloaded the bills that were allegedly bills I voted on, which I did vote, but they were traditional energy bills that were promoted by Republicans and voted against by Nancy Pelosi and the left wing. And so that was all fake news because there wasn't anything in there about carbon capture and sequestration, with one exception, and that was one bill that called for study and accountability for carbon capture and sequestration, a new technology. I'm all for study and accountability, but there was nothing in any of the bills that provided for implementation or funding of carbon capture and sequestration. I've insisted that to be the truth all along. And of course, Jeff Landry came out with a video about a week or so ago claiming all sorts of things, claiming that, for instance, George Soros was funding the anti-carbon capture efforts, which is not true. So I don't know why the governor would really spend money promoting lies and misinformation, and why the legislature would actually believe it. It's nonsense.
Well, you can tell the questions to you had really nothing to do with the bill that was in. As a matter of fact, Brett Guyman alluded to that and say, guys, let's get back. Let's remember what we're talking about here. This is dealing with House Bill 7. He had to rein them in because those two, and of course Jessica, they went to these other areas like, what are you doing here? Did you take off today? And I thought, matter of fact, I wish I could have been your sidekick. I'd have said, Jessica, what are you going to be doing this coming Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday? She's going to be off getting paid.
Right.
Matter of fact, last week they took off at noon on Thursday, got paid for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
The week before that, they were off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
Okay. So they have taken off, and they getting paid every penny.
Yes.
That means they don't have to come to the Capitol.
Right.
So I just laughed because to associate you, did you take off today? I thought, well, are you going to tell the taxpayers that don't pay me while I'm off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for Easter? I just thought it was funny that question was very hypocritical.
Well, Moon, I thought I was doing my job. Isn't that my job, or part of my job as treasurer? It is to go before the legislature and to take important positions for the future of the state and to answer questions, which I was happy to do. And of course, they kept chiding me, saying that I was off the subject. And yet, when I would say something on subject, they would try to distract me by
going off subject.
By going off subject.
Exactly. I noticed that. I laugh. Anyway, by the way, I made the prediction yesterday that it'll be 11-7, 12-7 vote.
Yes.
And we'll get beat. And I already knew that we only had about 7 votes. And that's sad. You got a committee.
Yeah.
You got people that take the time to come. To come. I got Paul Hurd coming on at 10. Woody Jenkins was there. But they had other people that were there. And they had people for their side that were there. And you do all that, and it meant nothing. And here's what I mean, Bob. I knew every vote before they had the committee yesterday.
Right.
You could have took the vote without anybody testifying because 12 of them said, this is economic development, and we're going to do this. And besides, we're a poor state. We need the money. And nobody would be doing this if it wouldn't be federal money. Exactly. Nobody. Zero, zilch, nothing.
Absolutely. It was a foregone conclusion.
It was over before the committee started.
Exactly. It was going to be a 12-7 vote to defeat it, even before the thing got kicked off. It went on for like 5 hours. But I think it was important that we made our case, because I think we're going to grow our numbers as the constituency out there, as the people of Louisiana really realize what is going on with carbon capture and sequestration. As you say, this would not exist without the 45Q tax credits that come from federal spending. Hundreds of billions of dollars of your tax money is paying to create a toxic dump site out of Louisiana. And why? To make the people in Europe happy about their ideas about no carbon release into the atmosphere by 2050. This is all crazy climate change ideology nonsense. You know, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, former colleague and friend of mine, he has come out squarely against this for Florida. He does not want it in Florida. And so, unfortunately, probably more than 50%, maybe as much as 2/3 of all carbon capture sequestration for the whole country will occur right here in Louisiana.
Yeah, you know, I noticed that in the last few months and weeks. We're going to be the dump. All these other states aren't jumping up and down about that. Louisiana's going to be super majority of all this stuff that's taking place. Now, that bothers me. It may not bother somebody else, but that bothers me. But what we've done, because we're so desperate for jobs, we made this a point to say we're going to take it. And that's why I thought we would lose. I thought we would lose because money's going to win. Big money's hard to beat. I don't care what anybody said. We can sit here and talk about it. Bill Cassidy's still in the race because he got a lot of money.
Right.
Bill Cassidy's dead meat, but he's in the race still with a chance because there's a lot of money.
Exactly.
He didn't have all that money. He would be a zero burger.
Exactly.
But he's got all that swamp money that's coming in.
Right. And that's coming from outside of the state. It's Washington money. We did an analysis and found that only 10% of the funds he raised actually come from Louisiana. So you know who he's working for. And the whole idea that we have to have carbon capture and sequestration to bring jobs to Louisiana is ludicrous. No other state is going down that road. But we know that virtually all of, in fact, Ms. Bourgeois, the head of LED, made the statement that virtually all of the $100 billion of projects that are supposed to come here are all dependent on carbon capture and sequestration. And once all that crap is stuffed inside our subsurface, they're going to leave, and we're going to be stuck with the problems that are going to occur to our ecology from that, and the jobs will go away. These companies will close shop and go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because of the argument. I always said big money would probably win this. I even told friends of mine that I ended that what y'all fussing at me for? Big money's going to win.
Right.
Ultimately, going to win.
Right
now, everything that y'all said with jobs and the state and boom and all that better happen.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't happen and we see things skyrocket more, I said, y'all going to be held responsible for it too. You can't claim all this glory and be able to walk away from it in a year, 2, 5 years, or whatever happens.
Absolutely. But for your listeners, remember that the whole purpose of HB 7 was to repeal eminent domain, the ability for private companies to steal your land for their use. And, you know, people from Jones Walker, which is the biggest lobbying firm in all of this, they came and said, look, landowners can always take us to court and, fight over this. Now, what chance does an average farmer have against ExxonMobil? They will drown him or her in lawyers. There's no way that you can successfully litigate against these big companies. They drown you from costs. They wear you down. I'm a small businessman. I've been up against big companies. They know how to wear you down and make you lose. So there is no option here for the average landowner. If they want your land under current law, they will take it.
Yeah. All right. Let me take a break. 844-766-6607. Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. We'll take a break. I want to thank our good friends at Talk 107.3 FM Guaranteed Broadcasting for allowing us to come in here and do this today. We'll take a break. Be right back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show on the road, Baton Rouge, Talk 107.3 FM. John Fleming, my special guest, state treasurer, wants to be the next United States senator. And, of course, appreciate Guarantee Broadcasting for letting us slide. And, John, boy, it's hit the news today, Fox News, and I saw audio, and people have been bombing me with it. But Ms. Letlow, I don't know why she won't come on the program. She's going to come to debate on May the 5th, I think it is.
Yeah.
And we're setting that up. It's going to be really good for both of y'all, just to get your information. I'll talk, go back and forth a little bit. But, I hit her with her own voice dealing with DEI, which she was at the University of Monroe, Louisiana Monroe. And, boy, it's really went around. Fox did a big story, and everybody's got that. Of course, Cassidy been busting her, and his PAC been busting her now this. Your comments on that, because I joke with people all the time, and I stick my foot in my mouth a lot, and that means my words. They come back to haunt you sometime, and I'm guilty of sin right here.
Sure. Well, yes, it hit hard this morning. That I'd heard for months that Julia Letlow was big into DEI. That's diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is really a form of racism from the left. What it basically provides for people who don't know is that if someone is promoted based on their gender, based on their color of their skin, rather than their merits, rather than earning it or being more competent, then that would be DEI. And it's gotten so bad in some places like the medical school in Minnesota, the University of Minnesota Medical Center. They don't even test their medical students anymore. They promote people. They make sure that all the numbers add up. That is, equal number of African Americans and people of color, equal number of whites, equal number this, equal number that. And if somebody can't really pass tests, it doesn't matter, because all that does matter is that you end up with everybody being the same. And
nobody's made the same.
Exactly.
Not one person.
Exactly. And we as Americans believe that we're a meritocracy, that everybody has an equal opportunity, but the outcomes are never guaranteed to be equal, because some people are better than other things. I love to play football when I was growing up, but I just wasn't that good at it, and I never made it to first.
Would you like to go get a shot right now?
I don't think so. I'd
I watch a football game and I go, I'm glad I'm at home.
Exactly.
One of the things I'm kind of curious. So that's hitting today, but
yes.
I still go back to Cassidy. Is that worse than Cassidy wanting door-to-door tests for COVID to quarantine people?
Right.
That was Bill Cassidy, a doctor, and you're a doctor.
Yes.
What was worse than that? That was pretty awful.
Well, that sounds like a communist country. He
said it.
Yeah, that's something you would find in China. And of course, Julia Letlow, as did Cassidy, supported vaccine mandates as well as vaccine passports, so that you'd have to show your passport before you could go into a public place. All of that was crazy and nonsense. Countries like Sweden never went down that road, and their outcomes were better than ours for COVID. But anyway, so Ms. Letlow was caught in an interview in which she was applying to be president, I believe, of ULM, University of Louisiana Monroe, in which she states very clearly she wanted to start a whole division in the university for DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And she actually criticized the university for not already having gone down that road substantially. And so it's not that she just supports DEI. She thinks that this country is just not DEI enough, and that she saw it upon herself back in 2020, I suppose, in that time frame where she was applying to be president of ULM, that she saw it as a necessity to be woke and to be all for DEI and bring it to Louisiana and all the universities here.
About a minute left real quick. So where's this race? People think it's all over the place. People don't know what to think. I mean, I still think Bill Cassidy gets beat at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Cassidy acts like he's running against her, wants to run against you. I don't understand that, but
sure.
I'm just, where's it at?
Well, we got a poll yesterday done by JMC Analytics. We've never run fake polls. We never will run fake polls. And again, I came out on top. Julia Letlow was a close second, and then Cassidy a close third. He seems to be gaining on Julia. And this is a close 3-way race, but I remain on top with every poll that we perform.
Yeah, interesting.
And independent polls.
Yeah. The independent polls is the ones I look at
yes.
more. I didn't cut on yours or theirs. It's
right.
just I look at those, and that's
absolutely.
I think what you just lined up is a good thing. All right, John Fleming, thank you.
Thank you, Moon. Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, we got to take a break. More to come. Moon Griffon Show. Don't go nowhere. Paul Hurd was testifying yesterday on HB7 as well. I'll have him on at 10 o'clock. We'll be taking a break. Be right back. Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show on the road. Paul Hurd will join us at about 10:06. He testified at the meeting yesterday, too. And I know you've heard some pros and cons, but these were people that actually testified at the meeting yesterday dealing with carbon capture. So we'll let them give the piece on. I did meet Jessica Domain today, and they said she would come on the program soon. So try to meet with them and see if they'll come on the program so she can give us a take on I can't get none of those people on. None of them want to come. None of them want to come, and I don't understand that. I've had a couple, but not many, dealing with that. And me and her disagreed immediately on what the Interior Secretary said on my program about it being a deal. Now, Brian Haldane, this morning, his program on Talk 107.3 FM, had somebody on that saying they're going to take the carbon capture and what they capture, and they're going to be able to use it for something. What? That would be not 100% different, be 50% different. The other 50% is why are we spending federal money on this stuff. We'll see. They better be right on everything they're saying because yesterday's push and private property and all that stuff, if anybody's property ever gets in trouble, I'm not saying it will or won't. I'm not going to even judge that. But if they do, all this stuff they're talking about, and then I think all this stuff is tied to all these jobs that we got coming here. I can't believe we're trying to please Europe. We're trying to please Europe, which is becoming closer to a third world country every day, to please people with this carbon capture. I don't understand, but that's fine. They can do what you want. Anyway, the vote yesterday, as predicted by your good-looking host, I told y'all it would be a 12-7 vote, and it's exactly what the vote was. It was 12-7. And how did you know that? Because I've talked to people and they didn't feel like they had the votes to get this passed. Why did they try? Well, as Fleming said, you put that stuff out in the public and let everybody see where they stand. The sad thing is, if they could have got it out the committee, we could have had 105 House members voting up and down. If you look at the 12 votes, let's look at the 12 votes. So voting right on yes on HB 7 was Carrie DeWitt, Oakdale, Brett Guyman, Lake Charles, Kimberly Coates, Ponchatoula, Jason DeWitt, Tioga, Shane Mack, Livingston, Danny McCormick, All City, and Laura Ventrella of Greenwood Springs. Voting no on the bill. You see, they already had built-in no's with Democrats, but they put two new people on the committee. As I told y'all, this would have been a little bit closer vote. They put two new people on the committee. They put Paul Sawyer, who voted no, and they put Ken Brass, a Democrat, who voted no. So they put two new votes on that. They do this sometime in the legislature. They will put some new votes. Those committees got into certain numbers, but those committee numbers are not constitutionally set that way. You can put, our Supreme Court judges are set that way, and you got to do something to change that. But in this case, if they want to go from 21, they did it years ago on the Ways and Means. They went from 19 to 29 or 15 to 19, whatever it was. So they can do this, but they did it because they knew they could put two more votes. They wanted the vote to be as big as margin as they possibly can to make it look better. You take the two new people off, it's 10-7. See, it's a little bit closer. It's pushing 50-50. It's not 50-50. I didn't say that. It's pushing 50. So what they did was Philip DeVilliers, who's all for carbon capture, he's putting it on there. He's putting it on his social media. Philip's all for this. If y'all want to talk about eminent domain and private property, call Philip DeVilliers because he's right there pushing this, sitting there watching the vote. So two of these, Ken Brass and Paul Sawyer, were put on the committee because they already knew how they were going to vote. That these 12 people could have never sat in the committee. They could have went fishing. They could have played pickleball. They knew how they were going to vote before they ever heard one word. So here they are, Ken Brass, Jacob Bro, Bryant, Jessica Domain, Travis Johnson, Timothy Kerner, Jeremy Lacombe, Jacob Landry, Joe Orgeron, Neil Raza, Paul Sawyer, and Zero Zarang, who's still waiting for him to show me that we had a $2 billion budget deficit, he told, was that 6, 7 years ago, 5 years ago, 4, whatever it was. Still ain't there from Zero. So Zero voted again. But these people already knew how they were going to vote before the bill even got out of the mouths of people. And if you looked at it, and I didn't get to watch it all. I mean, it's 5 hours, and most of it was doing my program. So I was able to go get bits and pieces of it. The people that voted against this and the people that are for carbon capture says the people who are worried about eminent domain and taking the property, I'm just telling you what they tell me. They're saying, you people don't understand what's happening. They just don't understand it. It has nothing to do with that. They think an eminent domain is the wrong thing to think about. People that are fighting eminent domain and saying, you can't come take my property, they basically going by the Constitution. Paul Hurd will talk about that in a little bit. But the people just think that want carbon capture, and I told y'all, said it on the air, said it to people privately, I don't know how we're going to stop this. And the reason I say that is so much money in the billions or hundreds of billions of dollars. And I got to tell y'all, when the dollars become a god, that god will win every time. People do not care. I don't know if they're rolling over people or not. I'm just telling you, when that money gets in the front of people and somebody's ship is coming in to be very wealthy, to go do everything they always wanted to do in their life, most people, I did not say all, most people are going to take the money and run. Most people will always take the money. Most people don't care about the consequences. Show me the money and get out of my way. And that's what I think part of this is. I would not have a problem with it if people were doing this, putting it under their land, and we had no federal money involved in it. Because if you didn't have federal money, nobody would be doing this. That's what's the sad part about it. To sit here and say, well, Europe, this is what Europe wants. Europe's in trouble. They're in trouble politically, spiritually, every kind of way you can think of. Europe needs the United States of America. Europe is dependent on Russia to heat their homes and cook. Europe needs the United States of America. We don't have to bow down to them because we can't sell products to them if we don't bow down to them. Folks, Europe needs us more than we need Europe. And yet, we got all these people saying, oh, no, man, Europe's got to have this. So we can't do business when Europe if this doesn't happen. Well, let Europe go depend on Russia. I mean, how would you like to be dependent on a communist country? I mean, we're dependent on China for so much. I've always wondered, I've been saying this for the whole time I've been on there, but really when I was a young man, I thought, why are we allowing a communist country to dictate our lives? Because one day a communist country will turn on you. One day a communist country will split you. One day a communist country would do what they normally do. They're Satan driven. They're gonna punch you in the back and knife you. Yet we depend on China for a lot of things. So I don't buy none of the arguments on carbon capture. I've not bought one yet. But if y'all think this is great, then we ought to see, if we're doing 2/3 of the projects in 50 states, we're doing 2/3 of them in Little Louisiana. My prayer is I hope they're right. I hope me and everybody else are so wrong on this. I really do. Listen to me. I hope we're wrong. And if we're wrong, it's a good thing. If we're wrong, it's going to be a great thing. I just don't think we're wrong until we're proven wrong. But the problem is they get all the money geared up. They come to us, they do the sales pitch, and we get beat. Sooner or later, this subject will probably go away unless it rears its ugly head some kind of way. And I don't know if it ever does or not. We'll see. I'll never understand a country being 39 trillion in debt, 41 in October of this year, and we just pumping out money and spending money like there's no tomorrow. And even Jerome Powell said he don't know when this thing's gonna collapse. Nobody knows. But the bright thing would be quit spending. Spending on carbon capture. Taking air and putting it in the ground. Taking air and putting it in the ground. Think about how silly that is. But it's not silly if you take air and put it in the ground and attach billions of dollars, it ain't silly no more. It ain't funny no more. It's serious business now. And it's become serious business because of federal money. All right, we got to take a break. More to come. Griffon Show. By the way, there was also trying to cut some taxes yesterday, but that didn't get too far either. All right, we'll take a break. Be back. You're listening to the Griffon Show. Okay, is Brian doing the second hour? Huh? Well, what I wanted to do, I'd pay you now to make sure you left, but I'm going to pay you for 1 or 2 hours. That's what I need to know. Okay. I can pay you for 2 hours, and if you only work 1, you give Brian half the money. But yeah, I told him, if he's got other stuff going on, I don't mind. Oh, well, if I do that, I just want to make sure y'all, it ain't much money, it's a damn hamburger. Yeah, I appreciate it. But that way you can handle, if for some reason he comes in, you just give him that. Yeah. And if y'all work part of it, y'all figure it out. If you don't mind, that way I'll give y'all a little something for your time. It ain't much, but it's better than nothing. Just filled up my car, so I don't know. I just filled up my car with $3.43 a gas gallon. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Gas ain't cheap, huh? That's why I like to drink. I drink some water during my program, but it's 3 hours. But I drink tea or Diet Coke. I really quit drinking Diet Coke. I drink maybe 1 every day or 2. But I do that because it runs through you, man. You gotta go to the bathroom. But that's what makes water It is the Moon Griffon Show, and I'm humbled to be here. Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. If you'd like to be part of the program, legislature's in session. They'll be off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But don't worry about them. They're getting paid. Don't worry. They're getting paid. They're going to be fine. I know if you take off, you probably don't get paid unless it's paid vacation. They get paid the same thing. If anybody ever asked somebody if they taken off at a committee, that's unbelievable. John got asked that question. And Zero Z Zarang got embarrassed with the question he asked, and I forget what he did. And then Neil Reiser went back and forth. I got it right here. Got it right here. You want to see it? He said, I ain't got to see it. It's amazing, but they were all set up to Pop Fleming, and it's fine. I mean, look, I told y'all we're losing because of the money. Take air and make it a liquefied gas and put it underneath the ground, and taking carbon dioxide out there is really crazy. You don't need to do that, but we're doing it because they attach money. Imagine that, attaching money to air. It sells. And it sells, and we got people arguing and fighting over stuff, and businesses all for it. Some people against it, and private property owners are worried about it, and the business people said, don't worry about it, let us make our money. This is all good, and we can't do this unless Europe will not buy from us like we need. And we're just going, wow. It just created nothing. All this argument, this is a true statement I'm getting ready to make. All this argument dealing with carbon capture and business and money in Europe was created out of thin air. I remember my mom and dad used to say, what do? You just create money out of thin air. Mama, I hate to tell you, Mom, they've done it. We didn't do it. They've created money out of thin air. How many of you people heard somebody say that years ago through your life? Yeah, we created that out of thin air. Well, you can't create that out of thin air. You want to bet? This has been created out of thin air and called economic development. Out of thin air. All you had to do was attach dollars to money. If they want to, I will not say this, but I am. If they wanted to create prostitution, and of course to collect taxes, all they had to do is put federal money attached to prostitution. And if they put federal money attached to prostitution, they would legalize prostitution in 0.3 of a second and call it economic development. Hey, and you know what the accuse they can use? Well, people doing it anyway. People are doing it anyway. They would justify prostitution. All they need is the federal money to come in here and say, here's the money. We're going to give you X amount of money. People are doing it anyway. We justify everything. But I used to remember the comments. What do you think? You can just pull that out of thin air? You pull money out of thin air? Heard that all my whole life. Well, guess what? Up until now, you couldn't, but you can now. The air we breathe, the air we kick out, now has money attached. So it's easy. It's an easy argument. And one of the funny things about the whole argument now is it's just going full circle, and they're grabbing new things to talk about. And in the 90s, Norway did that. I had Jason Isaac on yesterday, and they did that. And Norway did all this green new stuff many, many years ago. And I think what he said, natural gas is $3.2, whatever, and they spent it $12, and they spent it 400 times. It's more expensive over there on the energy stuff. And they got all this carbon capture. People don't think it's going to ever cost them. Matter of fact, as Jason Isaac, American Energy Institute yesterday said, they're getting $185, $189, whatever it is. And he said they're saying they need $700. I mean, they already need way more money than when they started, and they need it from the federal government. So just wonder what happens if the money dries up. But when you can create money out of thin air, folks, this is kind of cool. By the way, I don't know if y'all saw this because this probably got lost. Okay, so we were told years ago we vote for a tax bill, we can get rid of the income taxes. And You know, folks, and I said back then, these steps in the right direction are nothing unless you keep taking the same steps. You're not going to hear anything about insurance because they fought that last year and they think it's over, and it's not. Matter of fact, ask somebody to look at their homeowner's insurance and see how high it's gotten. So if you get a break on your car insurance and you get a gigantic increase on your homeowner's insurance, you might be paying even more. But anyway, so yesterday, efforts to eliminate or significantly reduce Louisiana state income tax appear to be on hold this legislative session, as lawmakers are sending a more cautious approach following recent tax reductions. So see what we do? We want to compete with Texas and Florida and Tennessee. We're going to get rid of the income tax. So we take that old step in the right direction. The next step, dead. Next step, dead. Same thing they did with insurance. Next step, dead. That's what we do here. You know? Louisiana deferred 2 bills aimed at further reducing or eliminating the state income tax. Taking a cautious, it's amazing. When they want to eliminate income taxes, they're taking a very cautious approach. When they want to raise taxes, we're shutting down LSU football. We got to shut down the hospitals. The sky is falling when they want to raise taxes. We got to do it now. We can't wait. We got to do it right now. But when it comes back to giving back money to you and me, well, let's be cautious, but we got to be careful. Why? Because they're worried about not having enough money to spend. It's all about the spending. Then State Senate President Cameron Half-Ass Henry suggested a potential income tax reduction could be considered in the 2027 if state spending remains disciplined. So when are they going to do it? 2027. Cade, what is this, 2026? You know what happens in 2027? They all get up for re-election. Let's do it in an election year. I know you're laughing, brother, but this is what they mean. Let's do it in an election year where people are going to remember we gave them a tax break. So when we go to the polls next fall, we'll have a tax break in the spring, and everybody will remember we got a tax break. Please elect me. Tell me that's not why.
It's like the wide receiver when he's in his contract year. He starts playing a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
To get paid.
The best year for any football player to have is in their contract year, the end of their contract year. That's when you want to have the best year ever. You could have 4 bad ones. You want the best year ever. So, House Bill 253, Danny McCormick. House Bill 411, John Wabill. They both were deferred Monday. That means even before being considered by the House Ways and Means Committee. You know what that means? They didn't want to take a vote. They don't want to have to vote on this. They don't want to vote that they turn down lowering the income taxes. So this is what they do. So they want to watch revenue. This is what happens. But they might do it next year, folks. It's election year, and this is a great election year deal. So I just think it's funny. When we don't have enough money, we're going to have to cut LSU football. John Bell Edwards. We got to cut hospitals. We have to close hospitals. When we're trying to cut income tax and maybe give people back their money, well, we need to be more cautious. We need to wait. Let's see what next year brings. You never notice that? Taking the money, got to have it now. Giving you back that money that you earned anyway, let's be patient, be cool. Let's be cool. All right, Walker be looking. Paul Hurd's going to call in 10:06. Mr. Hurd, he was at the meeting yesterday. Just kind of curious his take from the meeting dealing with House Bill 7. Let's take a break. You listen to Moon Griffon Show, Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline, Talk 107.3 FM. Hi, hello. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. Okay. Matthew James, Tax Pro Hotline, 844-766-6607. I want to thank Talk 107.3 FM, my good friends at Guarantee Broadcasting, setting up the studio. I can come in. It makes it so easy, and I appreciate them. Let's jump gears. Somebody else that was at the committee that in House Bill 7 in the Environmental Committee, I call it Natural Resources. Paul Hurd testified yesterday. I wanted to get Paul on a few minutes just to kind of go over what he thought, what he saw. And Paul, did you know it was going to be a 12-7 vote before the thing started? I did, but just your thoughts on that. Okay. Let me ask you a question. So, dealing back with eminent domain, let's go back to and you're pretty good at this, is talking about the Constitution. So, when these laws are written, put in the Constitution, voted on, dealing with eminent domain and taking property, I think it's pretty simple. And I'll tell you why when you give us the definition of what you believe it is and it's in the Constitution. I'm going to tell you what's being told to me. So tell us what that is first. Okay. Yeah, so let me throw this at you because I've talked to the pro carbon capture people. Actually, some of the nice people in the world. I've spent time with them over the last 6 months and all that stuff. And we, my friends in the oil and gas industry, sat down with them. We just have a disagreement. That's fine. So nobody's mad at nobody. I just trying to understand. My mom and them said you can't create money out of thin air, and I'm going. You want to bet? I'm watching it. But anyway, that's beside the point. They're telling me that people and these private sector people, I'll throw you in there too, don't have a clue about eminent domain. And this has nothing to do with that because we're going way under the ground. And so this really is overblown by the people who are talking about protecting their private property rights. Now, I've been told this a dozen times that the side of the people that are saying they're for protecting their private property rights really don't understand what this is all about. It has nothing to do with their property. That's what they're telling me. I've heard this a dozen times. Yeah. Yeah. Well, Paul, let me ask you a question. What's going to stop this now? Because I don't see anything stopping it. The legislature couldn't even get a bill out to committee. So what happens now? Will it take people in communities to sue them? Are we going to go to trial now for 3? I mean, what's going to take place? Who's going to make the ultimate decision on this, or is it over? We're going to pump 62% of the carbon dioxide in Louisiana. That's what 2/3 of all the projects are right here. Okay. Well, if I'm going to make this comment, if we're ultimately going to be decided by the Louisiana Supreme Court, I'm going to tell you, we will lose, and property rights people will lose. I mean, don't get mad at me for saying that. I'm telling you, we will get beat. Remember, gambling was decided. The legislature made a definition that said it was gaming, and the Supreme Court said, "Well, they say it's gaming, it's gaming." Boom, it passed. Now we got every forms of gambling known to mankind, but we can't call it gambling. We got to call it gaming. So, because our Constitution, Paul, says we should suppress gambling, and so we named it gaming. So now we don't have gambling. So that's how we play here. Yeah. Hey, Paul, let me put you on hold because I got to take this break. We'll come right back. Okay. All right. 844-766-6607. Come back with Paul Hurd, who, by the way, testified yesterday. We take a break. Be right back. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show in Baton Rouge. We headed to Duke's after this, speak at a Republican function. Looking forward to it. Great group of people. Always have a lot of fun. Paul Hurd, my special guest, is Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline. If you want to be part of the program. So, Paul, when you leave the meeting yesterday and you lose the vote, what did you feel about the meeting? Because I had a lot of people say, look, anybody that came in this meeting open-minded would have never voted the way the 12-7 vote was. They said it's no way. No way. So just your thoughts on what you saw and what the presentations were, maybe from the other side, the side you on, just curious. Mm-hmm. And by the way, they've done that for a long time, and I agree 100% with them. All for the oil and gas on that. Burgum, the Interior Secretary, said on my program it's a scam to store something on the ground and leave it there. That's the Interior Secretary for Donald Trump on my program. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, you're right. You're right about that because I've talked to them enough, and they'll tell, I'm not for the Green New Deal. This is all wrapped around the Green New Deal. We Edwards put us in net zero 2050, and when Governor Landry came in, they've never rescinded that. And I was told by Jason Isaac, who used to be a state rep in Texas, that if they rescind that, all this other stuff would go away. That's why they hadn't rescinded it. So Louisiana is proudly a red state that supports the Green New Deal. We are intact with the Green New Deal. As any blue state you want to know, we are there. We're got the Green New Deal policies, and we're hugging them. Yep. Yep. It's going to be interesting to see if other lawsuits and all that come up the road because I know it's kind of tough to. It's going to be tough to get to where we need to get to. So, hey, Paul, do me a favor. I would like to get somebody in Congress, senator, to do something where I can get some tax breaks. Would you call Brother Senator Cassidy and see if he'll help a brother out, see if he can give me some tax breaks? I need a friend. I like to make a lot of money myself. Yeah, I got to go. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it, brother. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm getting ready to head to Dukes in just a little bit to speak at a Republican women's group, and looking forward to it. Always a good group. Matthew James Tax Pro Hotline if you want to be part of the program. My man Stick Newt, the new church is going to be in here, and of course, friends at City Group Hospitality. You know, when Lafayette, we hear about Prey Jones and Dino's, but we're going to hear about some great restaurants in a few minutes, and I'm glad Mr. New Church decided to make his presence since he missed last week, by the way. I just had, what was that, last week? Yeah, you missed last week. Yeah, okay. I had to throw that in there. He's going to hit me back, but it don't matter. 844-766-6607. The last thing on this. So I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again. We are a green new state. We are no different than California and New York. Now, you can get mad at me for saying that, but the fact is all the stuff with climate change and the craziness of this, when they throw that money over here, we've jumped on it. We are a net zero by 2050 state. We're not pulling out of that. Listen, my friends in the Republican Party can get mad as hell at me. We are a net zero by 2050 state like California, New York, Oregon, and all these other crazy states on this. We are no different than them. We better not start paying, because when I hear, well, we're not part of that new Green Deal. Oh, yes, we are. Governor Bill Edwards put us in that position. We are net zero, and we've not taken it away, and we've got Republican everything in the state. So don't tell me we're not a net zero 2050 state, because we are. We're a Green New Deal state like California. We can proudly say we like California. By the way, they got out-migrating states, so do we. And we both got net zero. So we're taking that federal money, we're doing exactly what the government wants us to do. When I think about that, as red as we are, you would think we would be running away from this stuff. Ron DeSantis said, heck no, we don't want none of it, including carbon capture. Not here, though. Man, we're pumped. We're proudly hugging net zero, 2050 net zero. We're hugging it. We're hugging the Green New Deal. When I first saw the Green New Deal come out, I thought, I was so appalled. I said, man, we will never see something like that. Not only did we see it because Donald Trump was taken out in 2020. You can read that however you want to. I'm telling you right now, when you look at where we are, we're just no different than any other state when it comes to all this green new stuff. Tell me what we're doing. Tell me what's different. You know, we don't have any windmills really, but they're supposed to be building some of them down in South Louisiana. I know a company, a guy was on the program, Joe Argeron. I'm not cutting Joe. Joe's a rep. I like Joe. Joe's a nice guy, smart guy too. And Joe and them are doing all kind of windmill stuff off the coast of Maine and all that stuff. Because he's got the boats they could do it. He wants to do it down here if they do it down here. I'm just giving you information, folks. You ain't got to believe that, but it's exactly what they're doing. And so, Go Rider, I was in Sterlington, Louisiana 2 weeks ago. I was driving through, coming back home, and I looked up, and I didn't realize Sterlington, when I used to ride by this place, it was nothing but farmland. They got some of the prettiest solar panel farms you ever seen. They're gorgeous. They just as pretty as you've ever seen. So we got that. We got 62 projects. I think every one of them will be approved for carbon capture. We got that. We got a company down there doing windmill stuff. We got that. So tell me and then we already on design by 2050 to have zero, net zero. We got carbon capture. So would somebody tell me what makes us different than California? This is almost funny. We are as red a state as you get when you look at elected officials. And see, what I was joking about before about making money out of thin air, that's exactly what we've done. We've taken money. We've taken the same money that California and these other states are doing, and we call it economic development. This is what we do. So we're not doing anything any different than what other states are doing. By the way, do y'all see there's several Democrats starting to get upset about the agenda of the left. Michigan Democrat quit politics. His party agenda betrayed her faith. You can't be a Democrat and be faithful to with God because of their agenda. Their agenda is so much anti-American, anti-people. It's not even funny. And that is not only in Michigan. You realize I didn't realize this till the other day. There was an NBA player that got kicked off a team. Let me put this on and make sure I don't get this right. The Bulls waived a guy by the name of Ivy on Monday due to conduct detrimental to the team following a video he posted where he claimed the NBA was celebrating unrighteousness by acknowledging and embracing Pride Month. He got fired for that. He got fired in a country that I thought we had a right to be. I thought we had freedom of speech. I thought we could disagree. I thought we could just keep going. We can disagree. We fight at the polls and we fight on the way we vote, but you keep on. The guy got fired from the NBA because he made the comment about Pride Night. So that means to me, you live in a country where you have no opinion. And it better line up with what the government's telling you, like they do in China and Russia and Iran. You better line up. If you don't line up, guess what? You're going down. In America. That's almost, I would tell y'all that's funny. It's not funny, but it's sad. I mean, that's pathetic that we've gotten to that point. Last thing, and this is what I wanted to share, which goes around with Louisiana. Red states are the ones going green and winning the clean energy race. It's red states. With China undergoing one of the most ambitious energy transition in history, U.S. needs an all-out above approach. And guess where we're getting a lot of this stuff from? China. Red states guided by leaders who believe in capitalism, the free market, understand and investing in solar, wind, battery storage, carbon capture, just as smart as supporting oil and natural gas. And I'm going to tell y'all that's not true. That's going to backfire. That's going to backfire so bad. But when they say capitalism and free markets understand investing, here's where we differ. They invest in your money and mine through the federal government. They invest in your money and mine from the money they get from the federal government. It's not their money. All this stuff, solar, wind, battery storage, carbon capture, none of that would be happening without federal government money. How much of that comes from China, too? So it's just amazing. The red states, which we are one of them, are the ones leading the charge on this. In other words, I guess they sat back and said, enough's enough. We need to take our money too. I find that amazing, though. The red states are the ones who do it. All right. We get ready to have to take a break. My man Stick, New Church, is in here with our friends from Citigroup Hospitality. He brought some great food. I'll let him tell you about it. Let him tell you what his restaurants are doing, catering. You want lunch, supper. He's got all that to talk about. We'll have a little bit of fun when we get back. All right, you're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hi, y'all. Welcome back. It is the Moon Griffon Show. I want to thank my friends at Talk 107.3 FM radio. I have friends here in Baton Rouge, Guarantee Broadcasting. All righty, going to jump gears. You hear me a lot of times talk about it because I'm always in Lafayette, but we brought them around, and we came across some guys months and months ago who do a really, really good job with their food and their services. Citigroup Hospitality. Stig Newchurch joins us, and of course, he is the area director. Unless your title's changed since
no, man. I'm still a spoke trying to be a wheel.
No, man, you're like me. That's proper. Let's talk a little bit about before we get into the food you brought, because man, it's really good. Talk about Citigroup Hospitality, because y'all have way more than just one. But y'all do a lot of things.
Oh yeah, and we started out with City Pork as our flagship, and since we've grown in the last 10 years to have really 15 different entities under the umbrella. 7 of those are brick and mortar restaurants. And we're just like everybody else, we're trying to be as diversified as we can to weather any storm that may come our way.
Yeah, talk about some of the restaurants.
Yeah. So right now, there's a lot of stuff we're really excited about. I know we'll get to the food, but I want to start off talking about Beau Soleil.
I've been there a couple of times.
We're gonna drop a brand new menu next week.
Wow.
We got an awesome chef, Jordan Schneider. He's been around town for a few years. We're really excited about that. We're going to do some remodeling during the summer. So, that's really what we consider our special occasion restaurant. And the cool thing with this new menu is the menu is not going to be set up to where it always has to be that special occasion. Like you can come in and just get that meal that makes you feel good. It almost be like comfort
kind
food.
of a little different deal then. Huh?
Yeah. Absolutely. City Pork, our staple, 2 locations. We've just been killing it right now. That comfort food right now is what's hot and what people are turning to. We started doing these alcohol tasting, so to speak. Like we had Bardstown Bourbon Company come through. We started a ticketed event just to come taste the bourbon, and it made. We live in a world now where everybody talks about experiences.
That's right. Correct.
And so like the old line of thinking you got to do a wine dinner and all these things, we're kind of throwing that out the window, man. Like what can we do to get people in at what is truly a value for the experience that they can get and just have fun and not have everything be so formal and all that. So we had a great time last week doing that.
Great concept. People like fun. They like to laugh.
Yeah.
I know that from doing a radio show. I'd rather them laugh with me or at me. At least they laugh.
Yeah. And look, we've all experienced life isn't always too easy, especially the times we're in right now. So we need to be able to have fun whenever we can.
Absolutely.
And then also, Roost Creole right there in Perkins Road, going to turn 7 years old this summer, which is exciting. Being, our 3rd oldest concept. We have a new chef, local. Chef Noah Lassard. He's been around town for a little. He actually was with us a few years ago, but he's now circled back with us. He's working on a brand new menu right now, and I just tell everybody that loves our restaurants and frequents us, be on the lookout. We're going to be doing a lot of things that are going to be able to bring you in at at what is truly a value, and just knock your socks off with the best experience possible. Not just with food, but with bar program, and especially the hospitality that we bring to the table.
Yeah, the hospitality means a lot to people. They like to have a good time.
Yeah,
your food needs to be good. There's no doubt about that. But let me tell you mix good food and good times. They got places people go. I don't know why people go there, but the food's good. But people go for atmosphere too. They like to know that, hey, we can have a great experience here. You just said that. You touched upon something. The experience matters.
I had a buddy in Napoleonville ask me the other night. He said, what do you like to eat in Baton Rouge? And honestly, I just want to go somewhere where they just act like you care about me. That's it. Just put the effort forth, and I'm going to love your restaurant, and I'm going to keep coming back. That's all I want.
No. But there's a lot to it. Like I said, food has to be good. If it's horrible, people ain't going to go. And y'all got excellent food. But when they go and they can have a good time, they can bring a group, they can bring their family. I was in the catering business for about 7, 8, 9 years. And I'm telling you, when we went to catering, it was to have a good time. We wanted the food to be good. And I just remember from those days, we always went to a happening. Y'all trying to make restaurants where it's a happening for people. In other words, when they go, they're going to have a really, really good time.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about what we do in the restaurant industry, Moon. It's work. It's our job. It's our career. But we get to have fun. Like we get to, every day can be a party if we make it a party.
I tell people all the time, a restaurant business, because I've been around it and in it enough, is another marriage. You have to be dedicated. People got to understand when they're getting that final product that they like so much, how it got to the table and everything it had to go through to get there was a lot of work from a lot of people.
That's right.
There's no. So tell us what you got, my man. Brian. I'm telling you, Brian. The thing to your left, Brian.
Well, we used
grab
to have
the rest of that because that is really, really good. Yes, sir. They all good.
Take the whole thing.
They all good.
So we brought some new items from Beausoleil. The favorite in here is the lobster roll.
Yeah.
So we're doing a traditional lobster roll on a butter.
Tell Brian, don't cut it. Eat it just like it is. That's
like a sandwich.
That's his. That's right.
So we actually take oyster butter that you would use to char grilled oysters, and we butter that roll with that. Then we do a cold lobster mix, very traditional, especially in New England. So we're doing it the right way. We're not trying to,
by the way,
bastardize
I'm going to tell you, I think Kay would agree. Kay, the bread, despite the lobster being delicious, the bread was good.
Oh, it was fantastic. Yeah. Like, because when you eat like a lobster or stuff like that, sometimes you go to these places and you put like butter with crab or lobster. You don't need it with the bread.
But and Brian's going to taste it, but you could just eat the bread if you didn't have the lobster.
Oh, yeah,
you'd have a good thing right now. But okay, what you got next?
And then next we brought a salad, just especially right now with everyone being more health conscious. We're doing a kale salad with grilled radicchio, shallots. Instead of croutons, we're doing butternut squash.
It looked like
just like a crouton. When you eat it, it's so much flavor bursts through it. And Chef did a Steen's cane syrup and Dijon mustard vinaigrette for that. So you get all the flavors are gonna just roll over your tongue. And then lastly, he brought a tuna dish that we're doing. So a seared tuna over a grilled sushi cake. So white rice, sushi rice, topped with a sweet soy glaze.
That's why it's stuck together.
Yes.
I didn't know that what it was, but that's delicious.
Yeah,
man.
It comes with some grilled bok choy, and the cool thing about that dish is when you really start eating into it and you get that rice, you take something that really doesn't seem like it should be approachable. Like tuna's not for everybody because it is. It's just unique. I do too, but there's some people that can't do it. But it feels like you're eating rice and gravy, which you don't find with tuna and most fish dishes around. So we're really excited.
I noticed the rice was like one big cake, and I thought, well, that's pretty good, but that looks like rice. And when I tasted it, I said, wow.
Yeah, and that soy glaze kind of just marinates with it. It's just it's phenomenal.
But you said next week that's a whole new menu, or you going to change up some of the menu?
It's not everything is going to come off the menu. Probably going to be about 50-50.
Okay. When you look at all your restaurants, you guys, y'all cater a lot too?
Oh,
is that something y'all really do? Talk a little bit about the catering.
So our catering company, City Port Catering, couple years we've won Best Caterer in 225 magazine. Katie touched on and Malcolm Sarah, who's over that division for us. They do an amazing job working with guests. I actually had a meeting with them in a client the other day, and it's just they make catering and going through that process so easy because we're so we're people first. We're here to serve others. So whenever you get that guest in front of you, we just want to give them the best experience, even through negotiating through all this and getting them actually what they want. They do anywhere from backyard barbecues to
they're doing wedding receptions.
300-400 people wedding receptions in New Orleans. Like they're all over the map.
I was in a catering business, but I wasn't real fancy. It was barbecues and steaks and fish fries and crawfish balls and all that. When people came to weddings, I didn't do them.
Yeah,
because I didn't want to get into that business. But I dabbled in a little bit because there was a lot of money in it. But I really like going to big company picnics and all that stuff. That's what we really did. Really well.
Now the cool thing is when you talk about the high end stuff is we do, trust me, we do plenty of the stuff you're talking about. We do box lunches to businesses all over the city, to the Capitol, especially when they're in session. But, the backbone of what we do is always going to be hospitality. And we have a catering division that is ran by somebody that's actually a sommelier that has extensive wine knowledge and another person that has fine dining service experience for their entire career. So we're able to elevate the catering experience as much as the guests would like us to.
He said they do stuff to the legislature sometime. If you call our buddies, well, you're going to have more buddies than me, but if you call our buddies and say, watch y'all do a catering, send a little bit to Talk 107.3, won't hurt us. I mean, they come on here for free. The least they can do is
give me a sandwich.
The state pay for us for sandwich. That's just a sandwich. I mean, we would take this crab sandwich right here. I call it a crab sandwich, but that's not going to deadly. Brian, you know what Brian's thinking? Moon, they might not come with you here, but I think I can get me some free sandwiches.
Exactly right. Damn, Moon, I thought you were going to be in town today.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He's going to send me pictures of food. I know it's coming. You, real quick, what's the best way to get in touch with all these businesses? Is it go individual businesses? What's the best way?
So we do. Look, we do have our own website, citigrouphospitality.com, but each business has their own individual website. You know, rougecreole.com is just the name of the business. Very easy to Google search.
I met some of your top dogs there and at your business and the whole group that I met with y'all at City Hospitality.
Yeah.
Just great people, easy to work with, talk to, visit. That's why y'all successful.
Yeah, we come in with a servant's attitude. We want to serve the public. I'm a firm believer that a restaurant is supposed to be the beacon of the community and where we gather. And I think over a lot of I'm not pointing at anybody specifically, but we've all kind of lost touch of that, and we kind of got to get back to our roots.
Let me tell you something: service sales, brother. Stick New Church. Thank you, Stick. Appreciate you, brother. God bless. Thanks for the food. We really enjoyed it. All right, that's it for the second hour. One more hour to go. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show.